Bless love family. This is Ras Cory. Welcome to legendary Ras Cory. Subscribe, hit the like button, and share. Hit the notification button if you want to see more videos on this type of wisdom and understanding. Today, we chat down one of the most misunderstood stories of ancient times. The tales of the Anunnaki, and many say they were aliens from a distant planet called Nibiru. Or, but as I did my research, I watched a guy named Billy Carson. I watched the Flu Burn video with my Empress, and in 2004, um, I read a book called The 12 Planets by his name was Zechera Stitchin or something like that. But that's where that's what we get to right now in this video. But I now want to tell you today that the Anunnaki story was never about outer space, and it was about control of the kingship and spiritual deceptions. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people at that time, well, let I take you deeper, because I'm going to get right to this. The origins of the Anunnaki. I studied this. The Anunnaki comes from the ancient Sumer, one of the first civilizations up in Mesopotamia. It's something like the first Abyssinians in the uh, Semitic. It was like over 6,000 years ago in the sacred texts. The Anunnaki were the children of Anu, the sky god. They were deities of fate, judgment, and dominions over mankind. So they wasn't aliens with spaceships. They were symbols of divine power used to justify ruling elites, authorities over the people. And in the Onuma or Elish and the other Sumerians or the Sumerians texts, these beings could control like the fate of the kings. And you can check some Babylonian, the king. He was in some texts, some sacred scrolls, praying to these deities. And when when they was controlled the fate of kings and the destinies of the nations. So when a king said, "I ruled by the will of the Anunnaki," that was ancient propaganda. It was spiritual. It was spiritual colonialism. And the guy that got this really started was his name was Zecharia Stitchin or Sitchin. He the one that wrote the book. I'm gonna give you more to that. The alien deceptions, like in the 70s, you started understanding about um, about this man. In the 70s, his name was Zecharia Stitchin or Sitchin. He writes a book called The 12th Planet. He claims that the Anunnaki were aliens from a distant world called Nubaru, a rogue planet that comes near Earth like every 36 or 3,600 years. And according to Sitchin, these aliens genetically engineered humanity as slave workers to mine the gold for their dying atmosphere. It sounds just like a sci-fi, you know what I mean? So, but here's the truth. Sitchin was not a linguistic or not a historian. He misread the cuneiform tablets, and 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 invented the alien theory. There's no original Sumerian text that says that the Anunnaki come from another planet or needed gold. See what I'm saying? That's where the theory comes because in the 70s, everybody started talking about the aliens and whatnot. He created a narrative that caught fire in the minds of people already searching for the meaning of the world ruled by secret systems at that time. So, the modern conspiracies that the reptilian twist um, in the 90s when I used to study David Icke, he took Sitchin's theory and ran with it and claiming that the Anunnaki were um, interdimensional reptilians being ruled being beings ruled the earth through shape-shifting global elites from presidents to celebrities. He said they're all under Anunnaki's control. The narrative grew in conspiracies communities, fueled by fear, suspicion, and like hidden history. But I asked this: what if the real deception isn't the aliens created us, but the false gods and the powers convinced us to submit to them? You understand? This isn't about outer space. It's about inner enslavement of the mind, body, and spirit. What this whole thing is about. The true Anunnaki, the spiritual symbolism. Let's decode the real spiritualism, the meaning of the real spiritual meaning. So, when you talk about the Anunnaki in truth, represents the ruling of elite in ancient times, a caste of priests, kings claiming divine authority that were used to control the masses through fear, ritual, and hierarchy. The tablets say that they decreed the fate of humanity, meaning the systems was rigged from the beginning. The temples or the ziggurats and the laws were tools of mental, social, and economic denomination. In spiritual terms, the Anunnaki story is not about being from above. It's about human beings allowed false gods, kings, and elites to control them through illusions of power. The lost wisdom of ancients before Sitchins, before aliens. The Sumerians were teaching something deeper. They spoke of the balance of heaven and earth, the cycles of fate and divine law, and the role of humans as the co-creators with the divine, not slaves. You understand? But that wisdom was stolen, distorted, and used to enslave, insist instead of empower. That's why today we must reclaim the spiritual codes hidden by myths. Don't get distracted by theories of outer space when the real battle is for your own inner space. And the final revelation is that, so beloved, let I be clear. The Anunnaki story is not about any little green man. It's about the controllers of consciousness, those who hijack your mind, rewrite your history, and manipulate your reality. You're not the slave of an alien race. You're the child of the Most High, a divine being walking earth in flesh. The true Nubaru is not a planet. It is a frequency of awakening. So let the veil drop, let the illusions crumble, and let the true story rise. This is Ras Cory sounding the trumpet of wisdom. If this message resonates, like, share, follow for more truth and ancient scrolls to the modern battlefield of the soul. Shalom. Jah guide and protect. One perfect love. Selah. Bless love, family. This is Ras Cory. Welcome to Legendary Ras Cory. Subscribe to the like button, share, notification button. Today we misunderstood the story of ancient times of the tale of the Anunnaki.